Honourable Phil Heatley.
Mr Speaker, I rise to support this third reading. In the third reading, the Resource Management Reform Bill, divided into three parts. Resource Management Amendment Bill, Local Government Auckland Transitional Provisions Amendment Bill number 2, and of course the Local Government Information and Meetings Amendment Bill. Mr Speaker, this does makes 4 or 5 significant changes in what we have grown to know as the Resource Management Act. In fact, I remember the Labor Party saying some 6 or 7 years ago, Marion, what was her surname now? Minister. That's the one. She said it was a beautifully crafted piece of legislation. She was in love with it, ignoring the fact that it had stopped so much legitimate development in this country. And what this bill does is a number of things, as I said. First of all, the direct referral process allows resource consents, notified resource consents applications to be decided by the Environment Court, bypassing the local council. Of course, the reason being that so many of these consents, if not all, go to the council, go through a process which is elongated, painful, expensive, and ends up in the Environment Court anyway. The 6-month consenting provision in this bill allows medium-sized projects to fall under a category where the consent needs to be granted within a 6-month period. There's about 1,600 medium-sized projects on average throughout New Zealand each year, and we're saying that they should be consented within a 6-month process. We've seen under the 9-month process how significant or projects of national significance are done in a 9-month process, and now we're doing a 6-month consenting process here. Also, we've got the Section 32 amendments where councils have to ensure that the economic consequences of any decision they make are fully examined and reported on. And of course the amendments to do with trees as well that members from the other side of the House have talked about ad infinitum, as if trees are the most significant issue on New Zealanders' minds at this time. Parts 2 and 3 deal with the Auckland Unitary Plan. And Mr Speaker, this bill, as I commit to the House in the third reading, does again underpin National's environmental successes. We've got improved air quality. We've passed effective legislation in the EEZ, which the previous government ignored, even backed by the Greens. No legislation out in the EEZ. The Greens never thought of it. We put some legislation and regulation out in the EEZ, and the Greens oppose it, saying it's not good enough, it's not as good as the nil that they did. We've passed legislation dealing with climate change, and we're seeing more renewable energy. Mr Speaker, I commend this bill to the House. I thank the Honourable Amy Adams for all the work that she's done and her Cabinet colleagues and her support. Thank you very much.
Andrew Williams.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I rise on behalf of New Zealand First with the reforms of the Resource Management Bill. The National Government would have us believe that the current RMA is the blockage in the road of economic development and prosperity. The Philistines over there on the government benches would say that the RMA is a barrier. National says take out the teeth from the RMA and suddenly all will be transformed. Suddenly there will be economic growth with a surge. Suddenly there will be a new golden age in New Zealand. Suddenly there will be a dawning of a whole new economic growth because the RMA has been reformed. As the TUI billboards go, yeah, right. What their bonfire of the RMA regulations is a serious damage to our environment, massive unintended consequences, and it will impose potential costs in the manner of the Leaky Homes fiasco, which they brought about back in the 1990s. Yes, we did require some efficiency and streamlining processes to be brought about in the RMA, and everyone would agree there were areas for fine-tuning. But it did not require to be completely gutted, as this national government has moved to do. This government does not really want to solve problems. It wants to use problems to pursue its own ideological agenda. Somehow now it claims that changing the RMA is about solving the problems of first home buyers. What a massive leap of logic. How absurd that they've used the RMA as an excuse that they say by gutting the RMA, suddenly tens of thousands of new homes will be built as a result of taking away the rules around the RMA. It's breathtaking.